Welcome to Real Estate Talk. We're tackling your questions about real estate. And today's question is now a good time to buy a house? Courtney, is now a good time to buy a house?
As a broker, I'm saying yes, it is.
Oh, typical
But
broker talk. Yeah, I know.
exactly. But no, this the answer to this question is so nuanced, right? There's so many different variables that, even when I think about my experiences buying and selling for that matter, there's so many different variables in one's life that you should weigh to decide if it's a good time to buy.
Okay, but let's just hit the why right now then. You went right to yes. And I agree
Yeah.
with you, by the way.
Yeah. So right now, it's Q4 of 2024. Just to give the folks a little bit of context, I am seeing more and more opportunities out there, more new listings on the market, also more opportunities to negotiate. And, this might apply to everyone, but for example, I'm getting so many emails from different investors selling some great deals. So that's why I say now is a good time. Not to mention, the interest rates right now are at the lowest that we've seen since February of 2023. And at the end of the day, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
I had to for a second there, because I think you hit on the 2 things. Interest
Yeah.
rates are trending down,
Yep.
inventory is rising. Inventory is up 20%, like you said, at this moment in
Yeah.
time, and so you gotta get in early. Like, there's one thing,
Mhm.
it's really difficult to time the housing market. It's almost
Oh, yeah.
impossible to, but when you see those 2 things, interest rates coming down and inventory going up, now is a good time to jump into the market. I think those are the 2 big things for me.
100%.
But I also like what you
Yeah.
said just about timing in your life, where we were
Yeah.
joking at the offset just about, of course, the real estate brokers are saying now is a good time to buy. That's something I've
Yeah.
heard throughout my career, whether it was true or not. But it is about your situation where, this is real estate talk, real talk, which is it might not be a perfect time for you to buy. This is about living within your means. And if you are able to buy a house, now would be a good time. But if you're new to a city or there's something going on in your life, like renting could be a really good option for you until you are in a place where you're thinking about contacting an agent to start the home search.
That's a good point, especially if you recently relocated. Part of me, anytime that I'm talking with a client, I'm looking at, okay, what are your plans right now for the immediate near future? Maybe that's within the next 12 months, but also where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? If we factor in kind of that range of time, that will also help one decide whether or not it's the right time to buy. So, for example, we know industries are changing, right? Different corporations are moving their headquarters,
Yeah.
right? So it's really important that we kind of take a look at those variables as it relates to our life, our livelihood, our families, and really take that to heart in our decision making.
Yeah, let's go a little bit deeper on those are some of the reasons you might consider not buying or renting for a period of
Hmm.
time. There are some other reasons why you could consider buying, which is building credit, getting a tax
Yes.
deduction, building equity in your home. These are all sort of the underlining reasons why purchasing might be a good idea too. And you and I have talked before just about real estate as an asset, which
Hmm.
it's a very like I'm in my home right now. It's a very emotional attachment too, but there's some real reasons where you can look at it in terms of an asset as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned equity, right?
Equity, right?
So, yeah, you can, consider home equity loans to, or lines of credit to do different things, to make different moves in your life. Can I just say, as a millennial, okay, I hear a lot of millennials saying, I don't want to be locked down, or Gen Z saying, like, I don't want to be locked down. And
What does that mean? What does lockdown mean?
meaning, you know, I don't want to be locked down for the next 30 years in this mortgage.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. So what do you
Yeah.
say?
So this is what I say. That's not how it works.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yes, you are financing in some cases. You're financing a purchase, using a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Okay. Some people do a 15-year mortgage, but that doesn't mean you are locked into that. You can refinance, you can sell, you can rent the home out. Like in an ideal world, you have an expert agent that helps you buy a home that has even future potential benefits, like renting it out. Like I know when I bought my first home, lived in it for a little while and then ended up renting it out. And that ended up paying off my student loan debt.
Yeah.
So it's not that you are like locked in or locked down for the next 30 years. You do have options between the time that you sign for that mortgage and you close on your home and 3, 4, 5 years from then, and I think there's a little fallacy that I just chuckle every time I hear people say that, because to me, the benefits of homeownership outweigh the drawbacks of like being locked
Yeah,
down.
I get it. You hear 30-year loan and you might be thinking like, okay, I'm either locked down for 30 years, or if I leave after 5, I'm going to owe the balance of 25 years. But it's not
Yeah.
the case. I want to talk about the power of interest rates, because that's really been the story of the last 5 years in the housing market, going all the way
Yeah.
back to the pandemic where interest rates were near historic lows or at historic lows. And
Hmm.
then you have inflation over the last however long, maybe to some degree, we're still experiencing it. And now, sort of that ebb back down again, and how much housing has been tied to that. Because what's happening is when interest rates start coming down, it unlocks some of that inventory for people that already own a home, where they feel more comfortable in moving up, downsizing, getting on the market because of a life event. Whereas
Yeah.
those life events were the only reasons really in the last like year and a half, 2 years, that you would consider selling. Like you had to sell. Now that interest rates are coming back down again, it's sort of opening the market back up again. But again, we're at the beginning of that, which is why you might want to get into the market now.
Oh, absolutely. You don't wanna be one of those people that says, "Oh, I should have bought then," or "I
Exactly.
should have made the move." Absolutely. I would love to hear some folks in the comments comment below if, just to tell us what variables matter to you the most as you're deciding whether or not you should rent or buy. I'd love to hear, from you guys. Joe, I think this wraps up this episode. Any last thoughts?
No, I don't have any last thoughts. I wish I did.
We'll be back with another episode and more tips to help you navigate this world of real estate. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below if you want to hear from us. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.